One, two, one, two, one, two. What's going on? It's your boy Jason Mass. About to get off into yet another review. Jason Mass playing music. A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory. 1991. Yeah. This is a heavy one. This is a very important and meaningful sentimental album to me for a lot of reasons. Just it takes me back to a very specific time and place in my life and in my development as just a music fan and a hip hop guy and and all that. And yeah, it's one of the great all time great recordings there. And yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's see. My personal connection with the record, I would have been. It dropped in October of 1991. It was released around the same time that my uncle passed. That's my uncle Clarence, and this was the first death in my family that I experienced. I didn't have any real experiences with death, you know, like that. And yeah, and so I tie a lot of my, a lot of things about my uncle and his passing back to the low end theory. But yeah, he passed also in October of 91. And this is right before I turned 18. So it was kind of like this kind of coming of age type type era, and the music was from this kind of like soundtrack, that because this was like all I was playing at that time. As it, when I listen to it now, I can go back to that period and see it for what it was, which was like the end of my childhood, and and kind of like the end of a certain amount of my innocence, So there was that. Um, and this is also at a time where it was like hip hop was kind of a golden age, and it was a very idealistic era of hip hop, which to me really kicked off around about 86. And for me, it ran all the way through to about 98. It was just a certain idealism and just things just seemed, a lot of things seemed possible, a lot of possibility in hip hop at that time. And Low End Theory was definitely one of those go to records when I think about the golden era of hip hop. Um, and when we talk about A Tribe Called Quest, the way I always saw, it was three acts, that really kind of made me get involved in hip hop as far as trying to do the music, trying to write rhymes and do beats or whatever. And Public Enemy was the group that made me wish I could do that. I was like, wow, I wish I could, let's see Chuck D and be like, I wish I could do that. De La Soul was the group that was like, oh, you can do it. Yeah, you can do that. They're like you. You're a lot like them. They're kind of geeky and nerdy and awkward. So are you. You can do that. And Tribe Called Quest was the group that was, you have to do it. You gotta do it. Those dudes are a lot like you. You can do it. You need to do this. You need to start creating. Low End Theory fell right in line with that. So let's get off into the actual songs, track by track. First track, Excursions, 10 out of 10. Propelled by the Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger sample, also Last Poets. It's just, you know, perfection. And it's just, it had instantly cast a dark, kind of a heavy mood onto the record that really, it wasn't really, hip hop wasn't really known for its nuance in its moodiness. But nuance and moodiness is right there as soon as you turn it on. First track from that introductory bass line sounds like a very kind of, no pun intended, tribal kind of sounding bass line. Do 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 do. That from there on, you about to go on a real cool ride. Yeah, perfect track. And next track was Bugging Out. And this was where Fife really, the legend of Fife really was born, was really right here. Even though he did rhyme a little bit, on the first record and on Buddy and a few things here and there, it was Bugging Out where it's like the true, you know, coming out for Fife, just classic rhyme, classic verse, something in between the actual written word that he's kicking, the written words that he's kicking, and just the way he's saying it. It's just, yeah, it's an urgency that really, that I wouldn't really associate it with A Tribe Called Quest. Fife brought that to the table. And yeah, the late great Fife Dog on Bugging Out, 10 out of 10. Classic hip hop. Then it goes into a Rap Promoter, which was a 10 out of 10. And it almost seemed like that was just a continuation of Bugging Out due to the similarity of the sounds that they used, as far as the musical accompaniment. Again, first three tracks, 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. Great. Then we go into Butter, which is fueled by that Weather Report sample, Fife solo joint right there. That was a 9 out of 10 for me. That was a great track. Q-Tip was on the hook. Fife did the verses. Great song. And then we have verses from the Abstract, with Vinia Monica on the hook, singing the hook, and Ron Carter on the bass. Jazz legend Ron Carter on the bass. And it was, the melody on it was so lightweight and featherweight and airy and breezy. I always dug how lightweight and beautiful that sounded. Verses from the Abstract, 9 out of 10. Then it goes into Show Business, which was a 9 out of 10, and featured Brand Nubian and Diamond D. And it was actually originally called Show Business, was entitled this whole different song, same music but totally different lyrics, called Georgie Porgy. A lot of it was kind of I don't want to use the term that, I don't want to say that they were gay bashing, but they kind of were saying some derogatory stuff about homosexuals in that song. And Jive Records wasn't about to put that out, and they shelved that song. And the original version had Grand Poobah rhyming on it, and Poobah ended up not coming back to re-record his part, not showing up to the sessions, and Diamond D just happened to be there. Yeah, and he filled in for Grand Poobah. So yeah, there's a little bit of history on that song. Show Business was a 9 out of 10. Then you have Vibes and Stuff, fueled by that Grant Green guitar sample. Just, name that song Down Here on the Ground. I always did love that. My dad used to play that on, my dad was a jazz head. He used to play that all the time. Vibes and Stuff as a song, perfect song, 10 out of 10. Just, and I love that track. That ended side one of the Low End Theory. This is back in the days of cassette and vinyl. And yeah, that was a great track. Next one was the infamous Date Rape. 9 out of 10 track. Yeah, just it's about what it says, what's in the title. Date Rape. It made a song about that. And yeah, what do you say? I won't cry over spilt milk if you don't let me take you to the hill. I don't wanna bone you that much. that I would go for the unforbidden touch. I'm not the type that would go for that. I'll have to fetch a brand new cat. Baby, 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 I don't want to be rude, but I know the cause of your bloody attitude. It usually happened on the 28th day. I know why. It usually happened on the 28th day. I respect that crazily. When you're done with the past, when you come check me, etc. Great song. 9 out of 10. Yeah, inadvertently a funny track, but yeah. Then it goes into Check the Rhyme, which was the first single, classic, eternal classic hip hop track. Um, it's in that league of just great songs like They Reminisce Over You and, Wake Up by Brand Nubian, Rebel Without a Pause, Public Enemy, It Takes Two, Rob Bass. It's in that league of songs. Check the Rhyme. 10 out of 10. That was the first single from Low End Theory. Then you got Everything Is Fair, which was had that funkadelic sample and George Clinton sample. Um, yeah, pretty cool song about inner city, you know, female drug dealers and what have you. Great song. 9 out of 10. Trust me, it's dope. And then you have after that the second single, um, Jazz. We've got 10 out of 10. And this a lot of controversy around this track because this lyric by Fife, strictly hardcore tracks, not a New Jack Swing. That lyric fueled Rex and Effects, who were kind of a New Jack Swing act. That caused Rex and Effects to run up on Q-Tip based on Fife's lyric, and they, it was a big old fight, and they hit Q-Tip in his eye, permanently damaging his vision in one eye, and that was based on that Fife lyric. So, but like the previous track said, everything is fair, I guess, yeah, song itself is a 10 out of 10. Then we go into the time relic track of Sky Pager, bygone era. Sky Pager used to have songs about beepers. 9 out of 10. Even Sir Mix-a-Lot had a song called Beepers, but yeah, you have that one. Then you got what? 9 out of 10. It was strictly a wordplay joint. It feels like that song always felt like it could have been on the first record. But yeah, 9 out of 10. This Q-Tip doing a lot of wordplay on that. Yeah. What's Ali without Shaheed Muhammad? Nothing. Kapelka makes you vomit. Yeah. Fun stuff. Fun song. And there's the album closer, all-time classic banger, one of the greatest posse tracks of all time, with leaders of the new school, Scenario. 10 out of 10. When they performed this live on Arsenio Hall, according to legend, it was Electra representatives, watched the performance and saw Busta Rhymes and instantly wanted to go ahead and make him a solo deal, like right after they saw that performance on Arsenio Hall. And yeah, and for as perfect as this version of the song is, the remix, of Scenario is even better. It's not on Low End Theory, but it is on the Scenario 12-inch. And this was the third single. Scenario was the third single. Jazz was the second single. And Check the Rhyme was the first single. One of the best posse tracks ever, easily. It's in that. To me, there's the Symphony. There's Saturday Night Live, Master Ace. Scenario is like a handful of those tracks. Just posse tracks. Live at the Barbecue, Main Source. That's another one. Yeah, but that capped off the Low End Theory, one of the most important records, hip hop records ever, one of the most important records, any genre. And this was one of the records that kind of pushed hip hop, out of just being primarily black music and kind of got a lot of, Caucasians into it. And, they started digging what was going on. Tribe was one of those groups that, you know, spread hip hop through the masses. And they did it without ever once compromising or, their principles. And gotta love them for that. One of the all-time great bands, Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, 9.5 out of 10. Jason Mass playing music. There you have it. Peace.